So, what actually goes into getting a case dismissed? How do we as defense attorneys make cases go away? I'm actually at the office this morning. It's about 5:50. I'm about to head over to the gym, but I needed to pick something up at the office, and I was looking at this draft of this letter that I wrote, and I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit about one of the ways that we're able to make cases go away. Because one of the most frustrating things for a client is when they're being accused of something that they didn't actually do. And it happens probably a lot more times than you would believe. And one of the reasons for that is when someone reports to the police, hey, this happened to me, right? The police are basically taking down their statement. And while they may have follow up questions, a police officer is not cross examining that persons, right? An alleged victim. They're not scrutinizing their statements heavily. They're just taking down notes. And then if they think that what the person is saying would end up being a crime, then they're going to run with that. And that's going to be their probable cause to make an arrest, or that will be what leads to them sending that information to the district attorney's office. And then the DA can decide to file charges. And then the person will end up getting a letter saying, hey, you're being charged with X, Y, and Z crime, right? But the thing is, what the police report is only as good as what the alleged victim told them. So if what the alleged victim told the police are lies, then the whole case is going to be based on lies, right? That's going to be the foundation. And then those police reports are going to go to the DA, who's going to look and just see. They're reviewing the reports and the witness statements, videos, photos, whatever, in order to determine whether there's reason to believe that a crime has been committed. And again, without that pushback, without cross-examination, on its face, those reports can look as though your client committed a crime, even if they really didn't, right? And so what ends up happening is the DA oftentimes they're not actually talking to that alleged victim. The DA is going off of the reports and the information that was turned over to the police. And so that's where you can have a situation where your client is being accused of something that they didn't actually do. And so then when we as defense attorneys, when we get the reports, if the lawyer is good and thorough and experienced, then they're going to go through all those reports, right? And then they're going to schedule a time to go over with the client the reports. They're going to go after the reports and the media discovery, which is going to be the photographs and the videos and whatever other discovery has been produced. And then it's a strategy session, right? Because the client can then say, well, no, this is a lie. This didn't happen this way. This is an exaggeration. This is how this really went down. And then that's where, the defense attorney is now armed with the truth, right? Because nobody knows more about, the actual facts as it relates to what your client either did or didn't do, more so than the client, right? So your client's going to be able to tell you like, no, I didn't do this, or no, I wasn't there, or no, I didn't say this, I said that, or no, this is what I actually did, right? And so that is actually what led to this 7.5 page letter. In this particular case, I sat down with my client and we went over the information, and they were able to provide me their side of the story. And I think I've said in other videos before, we get our client's side of the story as it relates to the case, but we also get their story in terms of who they are as a person, right? Because in that police report, there's not going to be anything about our client in terms of who they are as a person, right? If they were employee of the month 2 months straight, they're a loving father, or they're a loving sister or daughter, son. They're a good grandfather, whatever, their family situation is, their work situation, their education, their hobbies, their volunteer work, everything that makes a person who they are. And a lot of times those are positive things, and it's a huge contrast between what they're being accused of and who they actually are, right? And so by getting all that together, that can lead to this, which is, a letter in which I did the research on the law and went through the facts with a fine tooth comb. And this letter ultimately is letting the DA know that their case is complete and total BS. Their alleged victim is an absolute liar. And I don't want to take this case to trial because it's not appropriate for this case to go to trial because it's BS. But if it were to go to trial, then I will completely eviscerate their alleged victim, right? Respectfully. But I just want the DA to understand that my client is not who is not who the police reports reflect them being. Because again, the police reports are based on lies, and so therefore their whole case is based on lies. But the DA wouldn't have any way to know that. So it's not necessarily the DA's fault because, the DA can't prevent people from lying to the police, right? But now it's the DA's case and you have something to do with it now. It's on your plate. Let me let you know what the truth is. And the DA at that point can say, okay, well, I understand what you're saying. We weren't aware of the facts that you just now provided to us. We're going to dismiss this case in the interest of justice. That's what I anticipate happening with this letter. Or they can say, well, no, we disagree, or no, we're going to take it to trial, or no, we're going to let the jury decide, and they can do that. But I do anticipate, I have a pretty reasonable belief that this 7.5 page letter, and this is just the letter that I wrote, there's another 30 plus pages of letter or 30 plus pages of information about positive stuff about my client to demonstrate that they're not the type of person that would do what they're being accused of. So that combination leading up to, I think it was about 50 pages to the DA will give them new perspective, which, like I said, should lead to a dismissal. And so there's just no substitute for putting in time, putting in the work and effort to get these type of case results. And so, I just posted the other day about how we got 2 cases dismissed in the same day. One of those was accomplished just by something like this, a lengthy letter putting into perspective what actually happened, exposing the lies, letting them know what the case would look like if it's going to go in front of a jury, and the DA making the right call and dismissing the case. So that's one of the ways we get it done. Hope you got something out of this. Talk to you soon. Peace.